How are you all doing, folks? Welcome back to the workshop and welcome back to the channel. If this is the first time you're watching ALCHEMOTO, plenty to see back in the back catalogue to catch up on what we've been doing so far in the workshop. But for now, last week, if you'd watched last week's vlog, we actually stripped the rear wheel and the strut covers and wiring off from your Sportster, which can be a bit of a pain, as we've explained. This week, we were going to put it all back together again, but we have been waiting. We got a little bit delayed. We've painted the strut covers now, which are over there, and we're just waiting for the clear coat to go off before we can put all that back together. Okay, so we'll just show you what we've done with the strut covers. We've gone a little bit custom with these now, and we've put the copper paint into the clear coat. So we're just waiting for that to go off before they go back onto the bike. And what I love about that is that it gives you that black look when the sunlight's away, but when the light hits it, the same as on the rear fender, when the light hits it, you get that copper streak through it. So we're just going to move ahead slightly, and if you look down in the front of the camera view to my headlamp on the bike, you will see I have the RSD contrast cut trim ring over my genuine HD Daymaker headlamp. And what I've been looking at things over the past few weeks, months and whatever, and I try and weigh up things of what I can do to the bike to highlight bits and pieces without going too far. So if you look, the little bolts that hold the trim ring together are in a chrome finish or a stainless steel finish that have been polished. We're going to change those for brass. And also, something else we've got to do today is the brass collection derby cover. Now this is something that I've been weighing up for a long time for my bike, because obviously I've got the one with the 48, which we've done in like an antique bronze colour on the bike, and it's been fantastic with the wrinkled black finish, and it does suit the bike. But I've been weighing these up and weighing these up and weighing these up, and finally I took the plunge, so we're going to put the brass collection derby cover on the bike. So we'll show you guys how to do that. It's a simple mod. So let's get cracking. Okay, so a 3/16 Allen key to remove these. Just leave those two in until we replace these first. Okay, so again, you want to put a little bit of thread lock on. You only need a drop. That's all you need. Pop that in there. And these don't need much tightening at all. Just until they lock up, and then half a turn. As easy as that. For the last two. There we go, folks. Okay, so that's a nice simple mod that anyone can do to the bike. You can get those bolts in anodized colours, in reds and greens and yellows and blues and any colour you want. But obviously for my theme on my bike is brass and gold, and copper as well. So yeah, you can get them in any colour you want. So look out for those. They're a 1/4 inch UNC bolt, and I got them in a 30 mil long, but you can cut them down just to suit and then just clean them up to fit your bike. So yeah, simple mod, anyone can do it in any colour you want. So let's move on to the derby cover. Okay, so we're on to the derby cover, and this has been a fantastic derby cover on my bike with a wrinkled black finish that matches all the rest of the casings, and my good lady, she painted in the 48s with the sort of antique bronze brass finish, and she is an artist as well, by the way, and if you haven't checked out her art, then go to awild.com and check out some of her paintings. And you know, she's gonna hopefully do some bike painting soon as well, so that's going to be interesting. But anyway, so for the derby cover, we are moving on to the Torx. So a T25 Torx is what you need. Now there is a couple of different sizes on these, so I'm just being specific with the bolts that are on my bike. And the first thing you want to do when you're taking off your derby cover is make sure it is off the side stand, or at least you have a piece of wood and the bike is upright. And the reason being is that it can drip a little bit of oil from there if it is leaning over to the left hand side. Okay. Now at some point we will be taking this off again and replacing the clutch with a Barnett clutch with some heavy duty plates. So that will probably come in later on into the year. Okay, there is a spring behind here, just a small spring. So if you just keep a little bit of pressure on, just as you're removing the last couple of bolts. And as easy as that. You just got to watch the seal. You can see how the seal just wants to lift from the groove when you pull it off. So when you put it back, just make sure that that is sitting in the groove. Otherwise, you'll tighten up that and it'll pull and you'll start to get a leak. And just as I was saying, if that was leaning over to the left hand side, you would get your oil here dripping out onto the floor. And it's only a little bit, doesn't matter, but it saves making a mess. Okay, so with the old one off, let's get the new. And here we have some destructions for the derby cover kit. Don't need them. And you get this with every bit of brass collection stuff that you buy from Harley. All the different things, and there's a few of those on my bike already. Don't need that. And there's our replacement bolts in black. And there we go. So what I love about these is the aged look that they give you, but what I tend to do is just polish up little bits of highlights like on here, and take a little bit of the patina off and let it then re-age with a little bit of polish behind it. But we'll put it on the bike anyway first and see what she looks like. Okay, so just checking with these bolts, and these are actually T27. These are a better fit with a 27. On my other bolts, 25 was a tight fit, 27 wouldn't go in. Okay, so on these new bolts, T27 Torx. So again, just make sure the gasket is sitting flush inside the groove there. Now these are already pre-Loctited. Okay, so when you're tightening these bolts down, you need to do it in an alternate pattern. Okay, so you just tighten each individual one until you can feel it nip up to the casing. Especially if you're only using, I use a snap-on little handy set, and these are handy to put in your bag when you go away anywhere, just for tightening things up. But you're not going to overdo them with this. If you're using a 1/2 inch ratchet with a T27 on, then yeah, you could probably strip the threads. But just keep going round nice and easy. Once you've done them alternate, you can just go round in a standard clockwise pattern. Okay, so now I'm putting it that way to give you some extra strength. So once they've been nipped up, it's just 1/4 of a turn. And we'll go opposites, 1/4 of a turn, 1/4 of a turn, and that's it. The derby cover is done. So to brighten this up, if you want to take a little bit of this off, because what they do is they put a wax on it, it's the age process, and then they wax it. But to brighten that up slightly, what I'll use is, and I'll get some now, first of all, it's a little bit of 00 wire wool. Now 000 wire wool, it will not scratch. Okay, but what it'll do is it'll take some of the brass, it'll take some of the wax coating and just brighten it up. And you can do this with a little bit of standard metal polish. But what the 0 wire wool will do is it will actually polish at the same time anyway. And just make it stand out that little bit more. Okay, and then to finish off, we're using the old famous white diamond metal polish. And then what this will do is seal the brass and stop it aging too fast, because obviously the brass will turn sort of like a browny green colour over time, which has done on my brass collection pegs, and I just leave that and then just highlight the edges just to give you that bit of patina. And the same will happen on the shift rod and the brake rod that I made a couple of weeks ago. Okay, quite happy with that. Again, you can go a little bit more, and it all depends on how much you want that, whether you're leaving the dull sort of aged look or if you want to polish it in. Now if we just spin round, and you can see on the pedals, let's bring that back a bit, and on the shifter, these are exactly the same from the brass collection. And I tend to just polish the ends up and a little bit on the ribs, and then leave the dark bits behind are the original sort of wax finish behind, so it just gives you that bit of patina. And the same now will happen on the derby cover. I know it looks a different colour, this fuel cap is exactly the same, but it will eventually turn exactly the same once it's been open to the elements a little bit longer. Okay folks, that is a wrap. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that. Some more little custom brass bits for my bike. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. We might just polish that derby cover up just a little bit more, but we'll see how it goes when everything's back together. So moving forward now, as soon as those struts, the clear coat's dried, we'll be polishing them up, putting the rear wheel, showing you how to realign the rear wheel, putting the rear brakes on, those EBC sintered brake pads, they're going back on, and we'll put this bike back together. So look out for the next vlog coming soon. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Plenty more on the channel, and again, check out the back catalogue. Please like the video as well, and ALCHEMOTO will see you soon. See you later folks.